내가 다도기는 난게 혼자 발라르베 다지 저 두개 저와 연결서데 지메는 제던데 진짜메 니제노 산다베 주제 혼자 발라르베 다지 저 이제는 되네 라마라졸라 소아다베 로산다바예 제가 주는 신도는 제 로산도지 장게 다지 저 사졸라만 남제 다시 저 예나 가서 남제 다시 저 마다 칸가 남제 다시 저저 소만 남제 다지 저
And this has got a story to it. I was in Tibet, and that's Telo Rinpoche's car.
Yeah. Right.
It had been ordered like about 20 years ago by some taxi company in France, and it was never picked up, and it was all in damaged condition. So I thought it'd be very nice to have Telo Rinpoche's motor car here in Mongolia. Because you travel so much, we put it up there.
Right. I'm very happy to meet you all here on this very auspicious occasion. As just looking at this small museum, we can really tell how Buddhism has been a very impact, not only just on Tibetans and Mongolians, but how it has impacted many people from all walks of life all over the world. And I think Buddhism is not just a form of philosophy or a religion or a faith, but it also can be part of our art or part of our way of life. And I think Roerich has really showed us that there's many ways to learn about Buddhism. Not necessarily we have to sit in meditation. Not necessarily we have to read many volumes of text. But we can also learn about Buddhism through art, through culture. And I think this is what Roerich has really done a tremendous job presenting Buddhism through art. I personally myself, I'm not an artist, but I can definitely say that some of Roerich's art has made an impact on the way that I vision things or the way that I view the world in general. And also I have learned that because of how art can be an impact on individuals' lives, and I also try to also reintroduce people to Buddhism through art as well. And I think this small museum, I think in the future will definitely grow and definitely be a symbol of revival and development of Buddhism in Mongolia. Before we get too far, I just wanted to briefly introduce myself, so this way you know who's talking and you know what's going on. I think that's very important. The previous Telo Tulku came from Zakwan, and I think most of the Mongolians know about Telo Tulku's legend, his story, the impact he has made in Mongolia as a country, not only as a spiritual leader, but his movements, his political movement, his activities. I think it has really definitely made an impact on and also marked in Mongolian history. Also a autobiography that was written by himself, which was out of print, and Don Kroner has gone through the trouble through reprint this or reintroduce this, and I think it was a very auspicious occasion that me being here today with a small group of people here, that he was able to present the first copy to me, and I think that was very auspicious. I think the autobiography kind of leaves off towards the end of his life. The previous Telo Tulku passed away in New York in '65, and I myself, and before he passed away, he was very involved in the Kalmyk Mongolian community in the U.S. So he had a very strong connection with the Kalmyk people, Kalmyk Mongols in America. I myself I'm born in a Kalmyk family. I was born in the U.S. in a city called Philadelphia, and as a child, I had a very big interest in becoming a monk, joining a monastery. So I think these were possibly could have been signs or Bhagja? How do you say Bhagja in English?
The karmic predispositions?
Yeah.
Karmic
Oh.
destinies?
Karmic destinies
Ah, yeah.
of the previous Telo Tulku among the Kalmyk community. Upon the advice of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, in 1979, my parents met the Dalai Lama in New York, and my parents informed His Holiness, and His Holiness' advice was to send me to India to get a proper education in a Buddhist monastery. My parents sent me to India. Once I arrived in India in the monastery, the older monks kind of saw certain signs or things that I might have said or things that I might have done. There was some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Some kind of signs.
Sense.
Yeah, signs that possibly he could be a reincarnation of a High Lama. So the monastery informed His Holiness, and His Holiness said, okay, he's from a Mongolian race. How many Mongolian lamas passed away in the last 15, 20 years? Give me a list. So the abbot made a list, and Telo Tulku was one of them. And I think there was a few other Boyat lamas as well in the list. So a few months later, His Holiness give the recognition as the reincarnation of Telo. I basically grew up in India since the age of 7. I spent 13 years in the monastery. And 1990, in the early 90s, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, I was invited to Kalmykia and to help them in developing Buddhism in Kalmykia. And I took on that responsibility only because my parents and grandparents came from Kalmykia, and I felt the responsibility as well. I studied in a monastery for 13 years.
Anong oranjida katsunsusun?
Then 1992, after the collapse of the Soviet Union,
Ando sunsun mirung hoyront yo orsing da communism orsing taragarodu.
so then I was asked to come to Kalmykia to help
Hajun
them.
pejata tinte sishni ulis layo.
So for the last 15, 16 years, I've been in Kalmykia helping the Kalmyk community there revive Buddhism there. So far, I think we have done a very good job. Unlike Mongolia, we had no monks left. We did not have any monasteries. We did not have any specialists. So we basically started from zero. And now I think we have done a very good job in Kalmykia. And now I'm slowly coming into Mongolia, where also the roots of the Kalmyk people, as the Kalmyks were known as Oirats, we're coming back to our roots here in Mongolia, and also serving the community, helping the community. I'm here to find ways what we can do and how we can work together in the future. You know, of course, Mongolia, we all went through, even the Kalmyks, we went through a very dark period. And now we have achieved or gained such freedom to express ourselves. We have gained our rights to have beliefs or to have faith and to practice it. And here in Mongolia, we have a very rich culture, which is very, very much connected to the Buddhist culture. When we talk about the Mongolian culture, it's not only about horse racing and shooting arrows or wrestling. It is also our mentality. Our mentality is a very peace-loving, compassionate mentality, which has roots in Buddhism, or which originates from Buddhism.